Today I'm going to be making barbecue chicken wings and I'm going to bring you along. The first step is I'm going to get out my handy kitchen shears and I'm going to cut up the wings. Now this is not a necessary step. You can leave them whole. This is the way they come. They come with 3 sections. There's the section that's the closest to the breast. There's a lot of breast meat on this here area. I generally clip this excess off here and cook it up. And then there's a joint here that I cut, and there's a joint here that I cut. This is not a piece that you would eat. Push right on this joint here, and I extend it out. You can see where that joint, wherever it kind of V's, that's where your joint is. So that's where you want to cut. So I got the tip off. Then we'll look at this next V. That's where you want to cut the next time with your kitchen shears. Gonna push on that, extend that out, see where the joint meets there, clip that off. See here the V area, that's where your joint would be. I'm gonna clip this breast meat off. Extend that out. V is cut right in the center of that V. Kind of right where that V is again. But again, it is not necessary to cut the wings apart. I just find it more convenient to do it that way. And then I remove this breast meat. Our wings come with quite a bit of breast meat on. If you end up with any extra skin or tissue that you're not going to use, just throw that in your bowl for bone broth. Pretty much at all times I keep a container in my freezer with pieces in it for bone broth. This was a 4-pound package of wings. They're $3 a pound. The total price of these wings, it was 10 wings, was $12.18. I measured up the leftover chicken breast, skinless, boneless breast basically that I got from trimming those wings. So I adjust the scales so that it would show taking the weight of this little plastic container that I put all the chicken breasts in. So how much chicken breast? We have 12 ounces of chicken breast, and if you were to buy that in our store, they're $10 a pound, so that would be $7.50 just for those chicken breasts. Plus, you get all these wing pieces, and then lots of goodies for your bone broth, all for $12.18. I just want to encourage you that so many people tell me they can't afford our meat, the prices are too much. There are ways, if you're willing to work in your kitchen and do a little bit of extra work, to get healthy, nutrient-dense, pasture-raised meats and at a really economical price. So right here I have 2 meals for my family, plus some things for my bone broth stash for just $12. So now I'm taking the wings that I cut apart earlier and I'm laying them out on parchment paper on a baking sheet. So I'm just going to lay them out and then I'm going to sprinkle them with salt and pepper. I'm going to put this recipe in the description down below so you can go down there and look and you can actually get the recipe. I'll kind of walk you through how to prepare it, but you can actually see the recipe down below. Just gonna put them in an oven, 450-degree oven for 10 minutes and then flip them and then 10 minutes on the other side. Now I'm gonna sprinkle them with salt and pepper. I'm gonna sprinkle them with salt and pepper. And then I'm going to flip them over and do the same thing on the other side. The parchment paper just makes cleanup so much easier, and they don't tend to stick because a lot of times they'll stick and it'll pull the skin off. I found the parchment paper just really helps with that sticking, and the skin's part of the loveliness of wings. I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them in the oven at 450 degrees, 10 minutes on one side, and then I'm going to flip them over and 10 minutes on the other side. While that's in the oven, I'm going to make up the sauce that the wings are going to go into. It says 2 cups of sauce in the recipe, low sugar. This is a sauce that Elizabeth and I made when our tomatoes were fresh this fall. You can use any kind of barbecue sauce that you prefer. We do try to keep things lower sugar here in our house just because we feel that that's healthier, and if we do use sugar, honey is usually our go-to. And then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of mustard. I will add 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. So the original recipe calls for hot sauce, but hot sauce just isn't something I keep here in the house. And so I'm going to put in some chipotle pepper. I'm going to put in approximately a half teaspoon, maybe not quite. It just kind of depends how hot you like it. Some people like their wings really hot. We like them with a little heat, but not crazy. So I put in a half teaspoon of chipotle pepper. Next, I'm going to take a whisk and whisk all the ingredients together. It was a homemade mustard, which tends to be kind of more thick. At least the kind Elizabeth makes tends to be more thick. I'm whisking it to distribute it throughout the sauce. I just pulled the chicken wings out of the oven after their first 10 minutes at 450 degrees. Now I'm just going to roll them over and put them back in for another 10 minutes at 450 degrees on the last side. The recipe I'm using said that you could either bake them at 450 for 10 minutes, flip them over and do it for another 10 minutes. I didn't feel like the 450 was giving the skin a crisp enough outside, so I went ahead, or it said you could also broil it for the 10 minutes, so I went ahead and broiled it. I feel like the skin's much crispier, which I think makes a better wing in the end. So I went ahead and did the last 10 minutes on broil. I'm just going to take the wings pieces, I'm just going to drop it in there. And then I'm going to roll them around and coat them real well. And then I will just continue that with the remainder of the wings. And here's my pan that I used with the parchment paper on. And you can see it got a little burnt there on the edge, but because of being under the broiler, but really you just fold this all up. Just fold it up and there's just very little cleanup with that. So I love that parchment paper. It just makes things so much easier and so much cleaner. And easy cleanup is really nice. I have all the wings in there now and I have them all coated. I brought them over here and I placed them in the crock pot. The recipe says 4 to 6 hours on low or 2 to 4 hours on high. So I'm just going to get them warmed up on high and make sure the crock pot's good and warm, and then I'm going to turn them down to low because we're not planning to eat for another 4 hours. So kind of somewhere in the middle there, kind of trying to keep the temperature, but they look amazing and they smell amazing. Come back in about 4 hours and see how they look. The chicken wings have been in the crock pot now for about 4 hours. And I'm taking them out. There's a platter of delicious barbecued chicken wings.